and I'm just getting lazy. I'm getting excited about the garden. I mean, but I'm just holding my tomato. Nobody can give me a definite answer, that it's okay to put it in right now.
Oh, no, too
I
cold.
I understand that, it's always fear that there's I'm just looking at my calendar because we are right now 12,
Mhm.
and long weekend is, it's quite a way yet. It feels like another week.
Yeah. Joe,
So,
I look at the cold temperatures at night. If it
yeah,
goes below 10, too cold.
really.
Yeah.
But I put my
Yeah.
tomato outside to harden them as
Oh,
long as
sure, in the day, but you bring it in at night, right?
no, I didn't. As
Oh,
long as
okay.
as long as it doesn't hit zero, then I'll leave it outside, and they're doing fine.
Yeah, do you cover
Yeah.
them?
Yeah.
Cover them?
No, the golf course, the grass isn't growing yet either because it's not warm enough at night.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's still the temperature dip quite, quite low at night. Okay, where are we now here?
But it's all such a trick because we have a short growing season, so you want to get things done early. On the other hand, things probably will grow a lot faster if you just wait till it's warm.
Yes,
I think
I experiment with that.
yeah.
Yeah, I did some experiment before where I put my plants in early, and then the other half I left it, and then later on I planted the second half. They actually grew faster than the first
Yeah,
batch.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah. It's amazing how like lettuce, for instance, if you do that second planting in July or whatever, it's like
Yeah.
up in a week and a half or 2 weeks, you've got lettuce, right?
yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna switch my camera.
What are we doing? I traced
I don't
the
know.
flower. It was a flower.
Did you draw the flower? I didn't draw the flower.
Well,
I've
that's
drawn it
probably
too.
cheating, but whatever.
Well, I've given you a lot of stuff, so you can pick and choose what you want to work. I mean, I really, because you guys already know the basic how to do it, and all you have to do is just do it. And then if you have any question, and then just, and then along the way, I'm gonna throw in some few tips here and there, and hopefully it will work. And that's about it. And the other thing we will eventually do, I don't have any lace here. I have to go get. So if you, I'm sure you do. Those lace, paper lace uh, that you get from a dollar store. You put under the cake or something like that. Those
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
yeah. So sometimes those things are really cool because what you can do is you pencil it on with a soft pencil with a B, right? And then you just put it onto, it's almost like an imprint. You put it on there, and then you put it on wherever you want it, and then you have a roller to roll it. I mean, we don't always have rollers, so what you can do is just put another sheet of paper. Okay, let me see here. So this is pretend that this is on my lace with holes and everything, right? So then you put it on the table, and then you just go and pencil it in. Literally, just graphite. Put a graphite to wherever you want it. So then you lift it up, turn it over, and say, okay, I want on her sleeves or whatever that I want that little pattern. You put it there, right? And then you put another sheet of paper because you cannot it's very hard to rub on the lace, right? So you put another piece of paper on top, and then you can rub all you want. It's gonna be, not gonna disturb the lace on the bottom, right? And then if you rub really, really hard, and then when you lift the whole thing, then you get the imprint of the lead on here, right? That's about it. And so next time I'll go find some. I don't use paper lace at home at all. So yeah. So anyway, I got my other one drawn just a little bit. I don't know if you got this one at all.
No, we don't have that one.
You don't have that one?
We have the
We have
flower.
the other jugs.
Okay. I have so many different ones. So, we're still working on this one. And how is the flower? Did you get started?
I just traced it like Lucy. Haven't
Okay.
Started it.
Yeah, well, you can start it quite easily. Let me see here.
I'm still got the hand.
Oh yeah. Well, you have a few things going on there. Why don't you just get started and I'll look for that picture.
Francis, Francis, can you hear me?
Yep.
I really liked you did another sketching class where you did faces, or you just did sort of eyes, but you took people's pictures from people who you knew and sketched their eyes, and just like
Yeah.
that. That was cool. So
Yeah.
how did you choose the photos? I guess that would be the hard thing, is find the right picture where you can get a good angle or whatever on the eyes, right?
Yeah, I did it. I made it into greeting cards. So I just took pictures I had of people and, blew up the eyes and then did the eyes for
Okay.
a card. So you had to have a good picture square on. So,
Some of my glass.
She likes doing that, so.
Okay, Pat, you
Go over to Gail's,
know,
you'll walk over to Sharon now.
Okay. Yeah, with that picture, you know what I will do sometimes when you're doing a flower like that, the easiest way, Francis, is just to go and do the behind, the background, all the black in first. And then you can see, because usually those backgrounds are 8, 9, and 10. So it's going to be very, very dark. So then you can see the outline of the flower, and then you just start from there, from working from the inside. Of course, the only thing is that you always have to put a sheet of paper so that your palm or your hands won't get too dirty. I saw the other day online that they actually sell these funny looking gloves that cover 2 of your fingers and part here. Just like the glove actually fit here like this, cut across, and then 2 fingers. So then when you draw, this part here don't get dirty, right? And I thought, oh, why? But you just put a piece of paper there, but I guess that's convenient so that you can move anywhere you want it. It just looks so odd, that little, glove with 2 fingers only, right? Yeah. So
well, mine would be black in no time.
and I figured, if you wear that thing and then if you keep rubbing it, eventually you're gonna still, you know what I mean? Because when you have that gloves on and when you draw, you're still gonna move, right? You move your hand like this, and then you rub against the lead, and then mind you, you'll be onto the whatever material they was using there. But if you were to put a piece of tissue or paper right here, and then when you go, this thing is not moving, right? So then it doesn't rub off the color or the lead from the bottom here. So anyway, I mean, I thought it was kind of interesting, whoever come up with that idea, right? So yeah. What about you, Pat? Are you which one are you working on? Oh, it's the flower too? Is that a flower?
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm working
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the flower.
Okay, good. You guys are ahead of me. Yeah. Actually, I was getting a little confused with what class and all that. And I thought, and I was trying to do a little bit of this hand there. Gosh, this is a lot of work. And with the fabric too, there's tons of work to do here. I kind of changed a little bit of the finger there, but it still doesn't look right, but it's okay. When everything's in, you don't really concentrate on looking, on that thumb there. So what about you, Lucy?
You have to unmute, Lucy. Unmute.
Okay, I'll show you my hand. I basically, kind of hated the big fat thumb that I did. So I just cropped it down. Well, I haven't really cut it, but I have it sitting side by side with the picture. Here's the picture. I just did
Oh, wow.
much of it.
Yeah,
I find I actually had book club the other night for 2 hours on Zoom.
Yeah.
And I was just like sketching the whole 2 hours. I was just sort of shading the whole 2 hours mindlessly with, Just sort
Yeah.
of looking at what's.
So
newer.
what did you do with the background? What black do you use?
I actually just use a marker. I tried to use,
Ah,
because I don't have any ink,
yeah.
and I didn't have.
No, it looks really dark. It's perfect.
Yeah, it was good. I
Except
have
that you
kind of
cannot.
put 2 coats of marker.
Oh, except that you cannot make a boo boo if you cut it
No,
right
yeah,
into
you're
the
right.
pen.
Yeah, there were some very slight little dents in the fingers that are not normal. Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? Let's just continue drawing this, and then I'll pull out some of the stuff to show you what we need to some new stuff to do. And
So
then new,
Willie, can I just ask you a question? So
Yeah.
I'm using pencil for my background,
yeah,
and I start off with 2B, and then I go up pretty quickly because I'm just finding it's taking forever.
yeah.
But as I come away from the hand, I'm making it lighter and lighter and lighter because I just can't keep that up. Is that what you would do?
Yeah.
Is I can't get a black everywhere.
I know,
pencil.
I know. No, you can't possibly. That's why the spray comes in handy at the end. You know, it's just like a varnish, right? So some
Yeah.
artists want it slightly darker. So then when they finish the drawing, they just give it a spray.
Like a fixative?
Yeah. Yeah. And the fixative actually come in luster or matte, but either one, it will even out some of the dark color. So if you were using felt pen or in my ink, there's a little bit of brush stroke here and there. And if you spray that in, it totally takes it all out. It evens
Oh.
it up. Yeah.
I'll try.
And then of course, if you spray it with a luster, they call it luster. It's basically it's a glossy one, and it will make everything darker, right? Yes, and I don't like using it because I'm super sensitive to the smell. So in the wintertime, you can't do it inside the house. You almost have to say you did all your drawing and you wait till summer and you go to a yard far away from your house and then you start spraying this thing with a mask on because the smell is just toxic. Because I think it's because when we were in the framing shop and we have to spray something during the winter months and then it's customers work, right? And we can't really go outside to spray. It was too cold because every time you spray it on it, the temperature change, it will affect the spray itself. Right. So then, of course, my brother will end up doing it. He's trying to do it late at night so that when no one is there. But in the morning, I can still smell it. I'll come into the shop. I have to, oh my God, it's just like. And of course, when we have classes and people actually will get headache from it. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, you don't necessarily need to spray it. I mean, this is, we do this kind of stuff. It's only for fun, right? For ourselves. And so we're not going to be too concerned about it. And then, I mean, I can tell you that most gallery nowadays don't even want to sell pencil drawing because the artist will want too much money out for it. As you know now, how much time you spend on it. Whereas if they were to do watercolor, yes, you know that from Friday, you can whip something out within 2 hours, within an hour, and it's done, And with the drawing, oh my gosh, no. I found a picture. I will send it to you so that you kind of see it. You can see how interesting it is. The drawing is full. It's all cooking pots and utensil. And then the artist only draw or concentrate on one part of the pots. And that's it. And I checked, and then they basically said that was a finished drawing. And I thought, whoa, okay, it's the same kind of idea like what's his name here? Oh, the art professor at U of A, Harry
Savage?
Savage, yeah, Savage. And we talked about this when I was taking classes from him, years ago. And then I talked to Robert Sinclair, and they even applied that theory to watercolor. And Robert Sinclair, when he would draw the entire bouquet of whatever it was, our entire picture of a fields or a garden full of irises, and he only go and paint one of them. That's it. The rest are all in pencil. You know, and I guess when you reach a certain point, there's a certain status as a Alberta who is who in art. You can do whatever you want, especially you are art professor. Well, obviously you know something we don't, right? Yeah. So I will send that picture to you guys too. It's just kind of neat to look at and see how they decide to, to do that. But to me, some people it's okay, but some people think that it's unfinished, right? Okay, let me see here. Okay, I got it here, and I'll send it to you right now. Right. Okay, Francis, Lucy, and Pat, PW, I think. Yep. Okay, so this is the pots. I think this pots, I'm not sure. I didn't look at it closely, so. Okay, I sent it to you in the email, and when you have a chance, you can look at it. And if you want to try that one in the future, you can do that too. All right, so anyway, I don't know what else to guide you. I don't have my drawing with the flowers, so why don't you do a little bit? And let me see here. That thing is so easy to do. So the only thing I would say would be if you were to start in the middle already, like Pat, Pat, you can start right there, and then you jump into the back and do your background first. Go around, do the entire background, and make it nice and dark wherever it needs to be. And the rest of the shadow, here's the thing. With a shadow, you really don't want to shade shadow too much because it's too difficult to make it even. So that's where the stump comes in handy. Using the stump to put in the little bit of a shades in first, so it covers large area, right? So you can make a homemade one, or you can use the regular stump. That would do. And of course, there's a lot of the light area. Keep it as light as you can because, with a little bit hint of shadow here and there, a little bit of core shadow, but the rest is just very, very simple and very straightforward, right? And then I will continue to work at the guys. What about your guys there? Did you guys finish the guide?
We didn't do that one. We don't
You
do
didn't
that.
do it. Okay. I have to block out some of the sun here. It's too bright. There, that's better. Okay. So yeah, just work on whatever you need, and then we'll just jump around and all that. So did you finish all your entire the English garden one?
I
I
still have
left out
darks to put
background.
in, but I didn't put a sky in.
Oh, you didn't know. You don't need to unless you want to put clouds in it. Yeah, this is my bad habit. With this, especially when I'm teaching classes, I have so many projects started, and then each one takes forever to do. Yeah, so I'm gonna just play with this one too. Try everything. Because we have 3 more classes still, right? So did you get a chance to find some ink? No?
No.
Not yet? Okay.
No.
That's okay. All right, so we have 2 classes left, and I'm just wondering if I should give you some more stuff because we haven't really done figure yet. And I don't know what to choose. Sometimes it's really, this is from previous experience. If I send male nudes, it doesn't show the wee-wee or anything like that, then you're gonna upset some people. And then if you send female body, you're gonna upset some people. because if you say, oh, you sent some women's a new female nudes, then the women will go, well, you know, women's are always made to be the sex object and blah blah blah. Blah. So that's why we don't now. We don't even do nudes anymore because this is the problem. So when I do a drawing class, I have to ask my class, "Are you okay?"
I'm
with-
okay. I'm
you know,
absolutely okay.
And I thought, well,
Male or female.
if you're taking an art class, I mean, you know, you shouldn't be complaining about that kind of stuff, right? I mean, as you know, most of the painting or drawing that I picked, it's really not obscene or anything like that. I mean, it's just study of light and shadow. So I picked up one interesting one. It's a man backside, and it's really quite a nice. I like it because the contrast. It almost reminds you of the other vase and fruit that we're doing because you got this, you know, nice contrast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send it to you now since you guys are okay with it, because I don't want to get any email. Okay.
Yeah. Willie, if I could pick like something that I feel I'd like to learn to do.
Yes.
Because
please.
you showed us how to draw a face, which was great.
Yeah.
And now, I was just looking at photos of what I have. I was thinking about trying to draw someone who I know, they're just their eyes or whatever. But I think maybe what might be good is if there was some kind of easy picture to copy, but freehand copy. I mean, literally try to draw part or all of the face of someone, even someone who's well known, like a famous person, so that
Yes.
you could
Okay.
see
Yeah.
if it's turning out or not. Because
Yeah.
I'd like to kind of expand that.
Okay. So the first thing first is that if you find a picture that you like, right, and if it's in color,
Yeah.
just go to Staple and make copies and turn it into a black and white. But make sure you tell the photocopy that this is a photograph.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because when you you know, there's the button somewhere there, you know, a photograph, and then if you push that button, and then if you do a black and white, the result is different than you just do a normal photocopy of a black and white.
Oh.
Okay. And then of course, if you know how to play, that's how I have to learn to use the machine, because you can ask the people there to show you how to lighten it to whatever, right? And so then you can just make a enlarge whatever. But I always said, you know what, if you're gonna do a portrait, first time you're doing, never do a face bigger than your hand, than your palm,
Okay.
because this is a good size, you know, for a face.
Yeah.
For practice and stuff. But if you're doing something this huge, then, you know, if you get double palm or whatever, then it's just getting too difficult to do.
Okay. Yeah.
So the same thing again, you know, if you can take that picture and sometimes depends on how they turn out, you may have to go in there and then just put in a slightly darker color so that when you trace it, you can see it. And you can do all everywhere else, but you need to avoid the eyes, because sometimes when people put Sharpies and trying to darken the eye, then you adding a mascara and then you just turn into, you know, it just doesn't look natural anymore.
Okay.
Right? So you can darken the chin, the nose, that's okay, because when you trace it, you can still see the outline of it nicely, but it's the eye that you need to be very careful, right?
Okay.
So that's one way of doing that. And the other way is you can actually get an app. I don't know what app it was that some of my students are using. You can turn a photograph. So that's more like for professional artists, you know, when they're doing tons and tons of commissions and they need to speed things up. So they will then take the picture and then they just ask the app to change it into a line drawing.
Oh, yeah.
So far, I cannot find one that make a nice drawing. It just, they stylize it too much and it doesn't look right anymore, right?
That sounds handy.
Yeah, so that's something that if you know, I mean, for you, I don't think you need to do that, because this is just for yourself and you're trying to do the best you can to make it look good. You know, you're not trying to make a dozen of these a day.
No.
Right? So for professional artists that want to do several portrait a day, of course, you know, the conversion will be perfect for them, right? So that they can get it traced and everything. I know some people don't even trace it themselves. They just farmed up to high school kids, and you know, they just sent them the image and then the paper and everything, and then they just get them to trace it.
You mean they don't freehand draw?
No, because when you're doing portrait of people, the clients are mostly very picky about, you know, whether you make the nose too big or too little or whatever. I mean, you know, you always have that kind of problem. So to avoid that kind of thing, you just make sure that you look 100%. You know? And the high school kids are good. You know, they don't mind doing it for a little bit of money, right? And they can, usually the girls are good. The girls can trace so beautifully, and because they're more patient, I guess. You know? So is there somebody you have in mind, Lucy, that you're
No,
gonna?
I was actually, I'm really just thinking about it. You know, I'm just thinking about, well, who do I know and who's turning 60?
Well, why don't we draw? Why don't we draw each other? We should do. Francis, you can do Francis.
Yeah, I could do Francis.
Yeah, there you go.
Got her new hairdo. Francis, send me a close up of your face. Really close.
You
That's
must
okay.
take out all the wrinkles. No wrinkles.
Yeah, I will. I have the app. I'll take out the wrinkles. I have a Photoshop.
Yeah.
I'll show you what I like, Willie. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
I really would like to be able to draw things like this.
There's gazillions of nice pictures up there, you know, that you can turn into a drawing, like a pencil drawing. It's just,
Well, and I think it's, you know, the old wood prints, the British wood prints you see in the books.
oh yeah, yeah.
So beautiful landscapes. I just think they're terrific. And then people convert them to drawing. There, I sent it to you if it went through.
Did you go to email or?
No, yeah, email.
Yeah, okay.
What is it? Let me see. Show me.
Okay, I'll show you.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, that's easy, right?
Is it? I mean, it's so, I think it's very detailed, isn't it?
It
Lucy,
is.
I texted it to you.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I mean, it's really not hard to do. It's just that the tree, you know, it's always a pain when it's more like it's a test of your patience more than anything else. Well, why don't you do that one too?
Yeah, I could try. You know, if it's like the pearls on that bracelet, I made such a mess of that because that's so detailed, right?
No, I mean, the landscape one is probably easier because, you know, with trees, you just have to look for, again, the darker area, and then you have your light. As long as you know where the light comes in, and then you're good, right? I actually saw something the other day. I thought of you, and it's also a black and white, a landscape one. It's interesting. There's just so much out there, right, that you can do.
Should we start with the darkest part of the picture here with this flower, like the shadow underneath the,
Yeah, so you need to do the background first, right?
oh, the background, okay.
Yeah, get all the dark in so that you can do half of it. If you don't want to spend the whole day doing that, you can do one corner. So I would say do the right hand side,
All right.
do the right hand side, all the black, and then you do the shadow. And normally when I do the shadow, and I find it easier, it will be just using a stump, and then you just giving a little bit of shades in first. And then you can take your pencil and say, this shadow here is darker than the other shadow. And then you still need to use a stump, because when you're doing flower, you want the petal to be very soft, right? So then you need to use a stump, any kind of stump, you know, homemade one is good, like these guys. And then you just blend it in. Okay, let me find that picture for you.
This flower has good, it's almost like I could number the colors of the shades, right?
I know. And I think the original one is a pink flower.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, saved.
I sent it to you, Willie.
Those
The landscape one?
branches look like they
No,
just-
the flower. I sent you the flower.
Yeah. I know you have been wanting to do the landscape one for a while now, so.
We really like in the other class, we're both really liking that plan fresh, like making pictures like that.
Plein air, yeah.
Plein air, oh
it's
yeah,
fun.
plein air, yeah, it's so quick and dirty and.
Yeah.
And.
Quick, yeah,
it looks
that's the
pretty
word.
good,
Quick and dirty.
Quick and dirty and yeah, and I mean.
But
no,
uses a lot of skills to do it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Great, yeah.
You almost have to not worry too much and it just keep going, right? Okay, let's see here. Edit. Okay. Cancel. Edit. Okay, so I sent the other picture to you, Francis. That's the
Okay.
one that when I saw it and I thought, oh, that'll be so neat. And it's Tuscany. I think it was Tuscany. Because I've always loved that rolling hills and trees and that old thing.
Oh, that's beautiful. I like that, yeah.
Yeah. And of course, if you can find Alberta ones, if you want to do something close to home, that you can do that too. So I might as well send you the ones that I had picked up. That let's see here. Okay, the male nude. And normally when we were doing like a whole person, we always start doing parts of the body, like foot, a hand, an arm and all that kind of stuff. And then eventually, but of course, I mean, that would take 2 years to do.
Hmm. Well, I have to say, I really like using a stump. Like I know not everyone likes it, but I actually really like it. It
Yeah.
brings in it makes it look, I find it makes it look better.
Well, sometimes, like I say, it's easier to start with that, and then you just add to it. So I'm just gonna go back a little bit here with my Apple. I think this is a pear. I thought I have it. Okay, where is it now? What about all the other picture, Francis? Are you completely done with all the other picture that went from
No, there's the
beginning?
one of the pots that you
The
said. I
pot
haven't-
one?
Yeah,
Okay.
I haven't done that one. yet.
There's a
Oh.
stacked pots and bowls.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Also, another thing that I find very hard to draw freehand, but I
Yeah.
would like somehow to get better at, is just animals or bird shapes in general. Like I cannot draw the most simple thing like a chickadee. For whatever reason, I can't get the right, you know, it's so simple, but it
Really?
doesn't look right if I freehand it.
Well, with birds, you look for the shape first, right? Did you try to draw the bird just like freehand the whole thing without any kind of
I think I was looking at a picture. Yeah.
all right. Of course you have to look at the picture, but it's the shape that you want to look for it, right? So let me just bring out the chickadee and then I'll explain to you how you're gonna do it. I mean, there's so many different kinds, so you know, I'll just do a simple one.
Do you graph, Lucy? Do you graph? when
No,
you're
I
drawing?
mean, I never did
Yeah.
at that time do that. No.
Okay, so I picked this one because it's just a little bit more this one here, Lucy, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So if you were to look at something like that and how you draw it, then I'm just going to show you. You look for the egg shape, right? For birds, you always look at we call it the egg shape, and basically it's the oval shape, right? So for example, this chickadee, you can see the entire body. Ignore the head, and then you first go and say, okay, the body, you know, the egg. Where's the egg? That's the egg in the middle, right? Like this. You go, okay, you know, and just do the egg shape. Sometimes you don't even need to worry. You just draw an egg to start. And then of course, some of the birds, the eggs are shorter. Depends on how you do it, right? I'm gonna do it in a darker pencil so you can see it. So yes, your position depends. You see this bird is sitting like that. So therefore the egg sits like this. But if this bird's here, the second one here, the bird here is
Yeah.
more upright.
Right.
So therefore the eggs will be, you can see the body now, right? The
Yeah.
egg shape. Yeah,
Yeah.
you need to get that in first to get it so that you know how big they are. Now you look at this one here. The second egg is the head. So then you go, you find out where the don't look at anything else. You just look at the shape of the head, and then you overlap. They always overlap like this. So you do multiple line, you can do multiple line. That's what free drawing is all about. So then you go, okay, now you can tell that, oops, it's this one here. And then you can see the beak is right where the first, the small egg joining to the big egg here. So that's where your beak is, right? With pencils on. See, you position them like that, right? And then you can say, oh yeah, the body here is a little, then you can make adjustment. And then immediately, once you got that right, you can quickly get these two lines in the middle. You erase those two lines. Okay. And then you can actually see it's not so distracted so that you can actually see the entire shape of the bird if it's correct or not, right? See, then you can make adjustment from here. So that's basically the basic shape. And then usually, you know, the eye will be sitting probably where the in the line continue with here, the line here, the eyes will be sitting right there. See, okay. And then of course all the markings and stuff you can do it later, but for the tail, it's usually a triangle, right? Like a triangle. So in this case, you just have to position and say, oh yeah, the triangle sits about here, like this, a little elongated kind of triangle. And then you can make adjustment again. See, this one have bent a little bit, right? And then you do the other one. And then the rest is just feather, all the little feather now, just going in like that. So that's basically, you get that shape here, right? You know, and then the other one, I think it's this one, right? So you got the egg, and then you go, okay, now the second one, the second egg is very close to to the main body. So you go in and it's almost like halfway into it. So it all depends on how they stretch the head. Okay, look at that. So then you go, yeah, the beak is right here. See, it's almost like the shape of the ducklings. That's how we do the duckling as well. It's almost like a chicken, the same way. So again, you know, once you got the position right, get rid of this middle line to see, you know, where you can straighten and stuff like that. And look at the head and the back almost joined together, right? And then you got the wings here. Again, like a triangle. You just sometimes just do a triangle, and then the one in the back. So it depends on where you put your tail. Yeah, so then the rest of it is just the marking. You know, once you got all the right marking in, I know you like birds. I think you were doing bird watching thing on Facebook, right?
Yeah, I know, yeah. I'm a birder.
Yeah,
And I like to take photos of birds too.
yeah. It's I love birds too. When
Right.
I was
Lucy has beautiful pictures.
I've painted birds. I'll show you. Might as well show you. I don't know if you can see if I turn this around. Here's a little bit of wall of birds.
oh yeah, yeah. Are they actually painted this color?
They're watercolor paintings.
Oh, okay. Perfect. So now you see how easy it is when you do apply this technique, Lucy,
Yeah.
right? So the two eggs,
Yeah.
the body and the head, then you will got most everything positioned quite nicely like that. So you can see that's a chickadee,
Yeah. I can
right? Yeah, you cannot just go ahead and start drawing outline of the bird. No, you need to have the two eggs combined in order to get the shape right.
So when you're drawing other animals, do you kind of do the same thing? Like
Yes, you do the same thing. Yeah,
Okay.
of course, the four-legged animal consists of tubes as well, meaning it's just like drawing your fingers, right? You know, you see, you look at your finger here. If you were to do this finger here,
Yeah.
right? It's a tube, like a little cylinder. So you do the first section here, right? And depends on the angle. If I'm looking at from my palm up like that, it's just like from the first class drawing that when you go and make a cylinder, right? And here's the circle. See, like that.
Yeah.
And then the second, the other side is over here. You can actually, you know, you can do it like that. Same, treat this one as the back, the second cylinder. So here's the second cylinder, right? And then your last cylinder would be round to end. So you see how there's section, all right? So then when you got all that in, then you can erase the other line. So now here is your joint, and then you can add some detail to it, a little bit puffier here if you want, depends on the finger. And then the second joint with two big wrinkly lines here, multiple wrinkly line here, right? And of course that cylinder should be bigger because it's going in this way. See? So when you do animal, you use a lot of all of them. The head is the oval shape, the egg shape, and the body for some animal like a pig or something like that, it's very, very round. And then the rest are all either square or cylinder. And then of course the cylinder doesn't have to be always be like a perfect cylinder, because if you look at a horse's leg, right, the horse's leg will be bigger on top, and then in some cases will be, you know, and then the ball as well. You know, if there's a joint, there'll be a ball. And usually that kind of, you can see that it goes into like a little bit ball bearing, you know, so then you can see how the second part here, then you join it like this. So these kind of stuff, you know, you can spend a lot of time doing it. And I would do the simple class, like when we learn how to draw, we always start with the hand, because it's easy enough that you can see the cylinder, and then you have your palm. It's mostly like a square. You figure out where the square part of your palm is, right? And then you joint again. There's the thumb here, right? And so on and so forth. So yeah, you just kind of learning the cylinders. It's really quite fun to do, actually. Yeah, just draw even two little fingers like that. Then you can see even one finger start. That's why we always do with one first, and then you can do separately your thumb. And you can see, there's one here and then another one here, and so on and so forth, right? I mean, that's just like if you're going to do freehand, right? Most people nowadays don't even do that anymore, unless you're like going to a very serious art school, and then they make you do all that stuff. I don't even know
if you're outside in nature and just doing it like you paint outdoors and you're just drawing a picture. I mean, you need kind of.
Oh yeah, so then that's what we call a line drawing. So you don't need to worry about the detail or anything like that. No, you just do what you see, draw what you see. I mean, it's impossible to do a bird outside, right? Because they're moving so fast.
True.
Anyway, I'm gonna do this pair, and then I'm gonna show you to just like the flower, using the stump to get started. I should send this guy to you too. So you're getting a whole bunch of emails from me here. Well, at some point you just have to, pick stuff that you like to do. And if you'd like to do birds, do bird.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I send that picture to you too. What about you? Are you interested in drawing, say, musical instrument, Francis?
Cellos.
Actually, I have mostly painted and different parts of an instrument. I painted the scroll,
Oh, okay.
a side view of the strings. I do that sort of thing for cards, right? Birthday cards and.
Oh, yeah.
And I have drawn some instruments too, but not that many. Mostly, I think in my drawing, I'd love to be able to go out and capture, like Lucy in plein air, do a lovely landscape drawing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe use ink, bring it back, and then do a watercolor, right? Just a very basic. I just think that's such a beautiful look.
Yeah.
And so that once we can travel again, I could do that, right? I can go
Yeah,
out and-
that's right. And also too, if you want to make it easy for you when you're doing landscape, just do a nice drawing with pencil, and then at the same time, because everybody has a phone, a picture, take a picture of it.
Mhm.
And then when you come back, you can ink it. At your comfort at your home, you just ink it nicely with a Sharpie, and then you can paint it,
Mhm.
right? Not trying to do everything all at once on site. It's
Right,
hard
right,
to do.
yeah. But you
So
would get
anyway-
you would get the shading in, right? You do a quick pencil drawing showing
Oh
what
yeah,
the shade is.
you
and-
indicate. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can indicate where, and then of course you have the picture to look at again. So you'll be fine, right? So anyway, I want to show you this one just so that you do your flower. I got your picture. I actually have that picture somewhere. Like I said, I keep thinking today was a Friday morning again. I mean, I have days nowadays. I have no clue what day it is. And last week I think I had my days all mixed up too. And oh yeah, it was last Tuesday. I woke up early on Tuesday. I have no class in the morning, but I keep thinking it was Wednesday, and you guys will be on at 10 o'clock. So I set my alarm and everything, and I was all panicky. I'm going, oh my God, you know. And then last minute, I'm going, well, I just have something with so and so, you know. So this is not the day. Anyway, old age, you know. Okay, let me find my dirty stump here.
This is like one of the only things that I have scheduled in the morning. And I feel that's kind of rushed at 10 o'clock. I'm like going, oh, how pathetic, pathetic.
But you know, it's okay though. I mean, you guys are not absolute beginners anymore, so.
And I find that the two complement, watercolor and drawing, really complement one another. When you
Yes.
learn something in one, it carries over to the other, right? It
Yeah.
just,
And preferably, we always try to do the drawing first, you know. So if you're in proper art school, they just don't go immediately with watercolor. You know, you have to do your drawing first, right? To understanding shades and everything. So I have a dirty stump. So if I were to do that white flower, exactly what I'll do is I'll go into my and figure out where my shadowy and everything is. Look at how nice that is. Just kind of, you know, you can immediately see where. Right? That's why we don't clean this thing. I mean, you know, the more you pick up some of these dirty color, the better, because then you can use it to jumpstart a picture like that.
so if I'm starting fresh, Willie, would I take maybe a 6B or an 8B and rub it on paper and do it that way?
Yeah,
Pick up the graphite?
Yeah. yeah. Or you can simply do what I do here. Just go ahead and create some here, right?
Is that an HB, 2B? What are you using?
Yeah, this is actually a 6B. Any kind of
6B,
soft,
okay.
anything soft is good. And then you got a brand new clean stump here, right? So then you just go and smear it all up here, and then you can see immediately you pick up a whole bunch of them there, right? And then you can just take it there and gently, because you don't know how much lead you pick up, and look at, you know, the shading on this pair, you know, it's a lot faster. You almost bypass the pencil because of the core shadow. So this is where we need to do with your shadow on the petal. You know, if you were to start with this, then you become really nice and soft. I mean, I haven't been shopping, so I saw some of my friends who use that a lot. It's those makeup, this little sponge they cut into like a triangular shape. Is that to go under your eye part? I see some people put makeup,
Mhm.
right? You know, to
For
blend.
foundation, too.
Yeah, and they
Oh,
said
gosh, yeah.
yeah, they said those things blends really well too. So, but I've never go in. Every time I go to superstore, I forgot about all that. I'm sure the dollar store sells them too, right?
The dollar store sells everything.
I know. Tell me about it. One time I saw a birth control, no, a birth, what do you call it? Pregnancy test kit.
That's very handy.
Well, but the question is that can you trust that thing?
Maybe there's vaccine at the dollar store and we don't know.
Oh gosh. Talk about vaccine. Now the study shows that, and now they're going to implement that someday soon, that people who took Zeneca, you can actually take Pfizer for the second shot now. And the study shows that if you mix AstraZeneca with Pfizer, the results even better than Pfizer. And I keep thinking, you know, in my case anyway, I mean, I don't know what everybody else, I go, you know, I have survived this whole year now. Yes, I have my vaccine and I'm very careful. I follow the rules and everything, and I'm okay, you know. So if I were to keep doing what I'm doing, don't put your hand in your mouth or ears or whatever, and wipe everything down when you go shopping, and you should be okay. You know what I mean?
So did they actually come out with the results of the study about mixing the vaccines? I didn't hear that yet.
Yeah, it's very new. It's I have my sources, see.
I heard on the news it was coming last night, so I'm just wondering why you're ahead of the CBC News.
Because I know someone who worked for a World Health Organization,
Oh,
and he has been meeting after meeting with almost every other day. They have something going on. So
so then the big question in reverse is if it's good to put Pfizer or AstraZeneca followed by Pfizer, is it better to put Pfizer followed by AstraZeneca?
well, the reason why they're doing this is because there'll be a shortage of AstraZeneca. And as of, I think the end next 2 weeks or something, Edmonton is going to receive only like how many? 24,000 doses? Not a lot, not enough to vaccinate the first batch of people. Because now they have to send the Zeneca vaccine now. You know, the manufacturer are sending it to India and to all those places where they have really severe problem there.
One of my friends has already gone ahead and she got AstraZeneca and then she was in the States. So then she got her second with Pfizer.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they even let her because initially, you know, they were hesitant on that. But anyway, she says she's good. She's all set as long as she doesn't grow a second head, she said. But, you know, they're already allowing it some places.
That's kind of weird. You know, you go from country to country to get it. And so.
Well, she did. She was just on holiday there.
Yeah. The other thing I kind of find it interesting too is the recent conspiracy. Did you hear about the recent conspiracy about the anti-vaxxer? It's going around amongst them that the anti-vaxxer and anti-masker, if they don't wear masks, they will get some weird protein from the people who got vaccinated already, and they will get sick. So now the anti-masker are putting masks on. And I'm like, somewhere along the way, there must be somebody who's really clever to come up with these sort of things because they're stupid enough to you know. So then to make them wear masks, so they say, you know what, if you don't want to wear masks, you be careful because people who got vaccinated now, the body produce a certain kind of protein, and then when they breathe out, this protein will go and attack you and kill you. And that's exactly what they said to them. And of course, when I was reading that, I was just like, oh yeah, you know, talk about gullible people, right? You have to come up with this gullible thing.
That's good for us though, because it means all
Yeah.
those anti-vaxxers will be masked. Thank goodness.
Exactly. Yeah, I thought it was so cute in some way anyway.
Francis, did your kids get vaccinated?
I haven't talked to my kids to see what they have done, but my daughter-in-law, who is a Jehovah's Witness, they said that the church don't tell them to do or not to do. You know, they basically leave it to the congregation themselves to decide what they want to do or not, or to get vaccinated. So, and then my daughter-in-law, this one here is pretty good, and even the one with Australia is pretty good too, because I think it's to make peace in the family, right? You know, my son is not Jehovah's Witness, so you know, he most likely will get vaccinated. So therefore, you know, yeah, it's just weird when you starting dragging into religion and stuff like that. It's just terrible.
Yeah. I think I convinced at least 2 people to get a vaccine, so I'm proud.
Oh, good.
My line that seems to, well, worked on one of them was I said, well, maybe you and your friends should just go to the hospital for a day and see what it's like.
Yeah,
And the next thing I
exactly.
knew, they were getting a vaccine.
Yeah. And that's why they have some meme on the Facebook or whatever saying that if you don't believe in the virus, well, you should go help out in the hospital. And besides, you don't need to wear masks because you're protected. You don't believe you're gonna get it. So go to the hospital and help help out without all these gear. So far, no taker.
They need more pop-up clinics. There's too many people who can't, who just don't get around to it, or don't know how to book it, or just are really busy. So if like, I think there just needs to be more pop-ups.
What were you gonna say, Pat?
Well, there's just a whole bunch of theories around what you should or shouldn't do. And like you said, go to the hospital and help out. The other thing is, if you don't want to get vaccinated, then we'll write down your health number. And if you get sick, we'll
You're on the back of the
prioritize
line.
based on how many people. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? So far, they have cases already that people who didn't believe in the virus got sick. Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
next thing you know, they will be in the hospital asking for help.
Yeah.
And maybe some of those people will want to travel, and maybe if they don't have a vaccine passport, that could be a reason.
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter. Hey, if you don't believe in that and if you want to travel, well, no, there's no way. Some countries just won't let you in.
No vaccine, no visit.
Yeah.
Good. The rodeo organizers are in court today, or
Oh,
soon.
really? Ah, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, let's organize a rodeo in the middle of a pandemic.
And then also too, the church people too, the minister there. I think they're getting fined like over $2,000 fine or something. But anyway, I just find it interesting where most people have got vaccinated for polio, for other stuff. And when this time comes around and you actually all of a sudden you don't believe in the vaccine anymore,
Well, I'm the president of a golf course in town, and all these COVID changes are crazy.
Yeah,
But our staff can't be the police, so we have people sign a waiver if they want to play together and that they meet the rules.
Yeah.
Laid out by Alberta Health. However, you could be fined a minimum of $2,000 up to a maximum of $100,000. So if you sign this waiver, you're taking that risk. We're not assuming any risk for you if you are not meeting the requirements of Alberta Health.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, you got to be a little bit more, firm about that sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
I think that's
you told us that you met the requirements, so have at her.
Would Alberta Health fine you and you would pass the fine along to them, or what?
No, we're not the police.
Okay.
We have the rules stated. We have a waiver that says these are the rules. You understand the rules, and you've agreed that you're compliant with the rules.
That's good. And then if you don't want to do it, don't play.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, then you can play as a single.
Oh.
I bet you there's a lot more single people playing. I heard my friends playing by herself.
Yeah, no, they are. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with it if you want to go and play.
Yeah.
It just isn't as much fun playing by yourself.
I can't even imagine. I mean, golf is supposed to be a team kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend.
But it's also a great exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get out in the fresh air for a couple of hours.
Mm-hmm. You walk around. So how many steps can you do in a day like that?
16,000.
16,000. Oh, okay. That's not bad, eh?
No.
I
And
mean,
if you lose your ball, it could be more than that.
for me, if I can get $10,000, 10,000 steps in a day, I'm happy. Because a lot of the time I look at my Fitbit and I go, oh God, I got to go walk.
Yeah, it ranges somewhere between 14 to 16,000, depending on the course.
Oh, that's good.
And it also depends how far the walk is between holes,
Yeah.
because it could be up to 20,000 if there's a long walk between the different holes.
Okay. I've never golfed before, so my brother, they are golfer, so.
So Pat, you don't pick up the flag, do you? They've done something different? Is that
No.
what they?
Well, the rules also changed that you don't have to take the flag out anymore.
Oh. And then carts, are they still offering carts?
Yeah, you go out as a single in a cart.
Yeah.
Unless you're a family member.
And then yet 2 years ago, we never thought it will come to this thing.
And that's for sure. We still don't believe it.
Yeah. I mean, this is just one of the pandemic. I mean, I'm sure there'll be more coming.
Unfortunately, that's probably true.
So Francis, how do you find the landscape? What do you think is the toughest part?
Well,
It's
yeah,
almost like I feel like that you have this question about whether you can do it or not, or you simply
yeah,
doubt.
it's so detailed, right? It's so,
Yes.
so
You know,
I don't think I've done a landscape ever,
No?
like one I sent you, never.
Oh, okay. No, it's not hard to do. The first picture you sent me, that's easy because there's a lot of blank space, big sky and all that stuff with the prairie in front, right?
Mhm.
The grassland. So there's not a whole lot of detail. But if you look at the Tuscany, the one I sent you,
Mhm.
that's a lot of work, right? So you almost have to pick and choose and do what we should call it the Bob Sinclair technique. You have to pick and choose what you want to concentrate on. So on the Tuscany one, I will concentrate on the building more than anything else, right? And then you might have some detail trees around it, but you don't want to go all the way to the edges of paper, every single leaves and everything. That's just too much to do. But of course, if you find it that's appealing, then why not? I would say do it. It's easy to do, really. So then I'm gonna put a note down here so that we can try some of that next time. And well, I'm gonna show you quickly what I normally do when I teach landscape anyway, and then you might like to try that out too.
Sounds
Okay.
good. And Lucy, you still want to do a portrait of someone famous or?
Well, yeah, I'm happy, or yeah. Or if you send me a close-up of you, I'll do you. You're famous. You're famous in my
Okay.
world.
Well, she's a famous cellist.
Yeah, I'll stick a little cello in the corner, just this part of it. I can see how using a dirty stump, speeds up the process.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
Important.
Oh, by the way, I talked to Louise, and then she said hi. She said she hasn't talked to you for a while. So
No, it's been a long time.
Are you talking
Yeah.
about Louise Hannon? Or
pardon me?
Yes, that's right, Lucy. Yeah.
yeah, okay. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
See her, where do you see her, Willie?
Oh, she lives across from my back. Across her our unit here is the shape of a C, and we're I'm in one side of the sea, and then she's on the other side of the sea.
Oh,
So when I went up there to dig in my garden, she's out there and she's ahead of everybody. She's already put her seeds, everything in.
She is amazing for her age. She is just
Yeah.
amazing. She's an inspiration.
And then of course, every year if there's empty spot, nobody took the plot here, she will take them and grow food for the food bank.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
absolutely.
this year she was trying to put something else because the food bank is loaded with potato and they don't want any potato. Can you imagine that? Eh?
That's good to hear. They're loaded with something. Okay,
Yeah.
really, I want to show this to you. I've done a section of the flower background
Yeah.
and I've put graphite on it and did the, ran over my stump. And then
Yeah.
I did it again and ran over it with my stump. So would this be enough? Can you see? That's what I've done there.
Oh yeah.
This.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's
Is
good.
that what you would do to get it dark? Like you would do it more than once?
Yeah.
With the
More than
stump?
once, and then you need to rub it with the stump to make it darker, because you're basically pushing the rest of the lead into the paper, right? Make it
Yes.
dark. Yeah, that's
So
good.
This I've done twice with the stump and twice with my pencil.
Yeah,
graphite
yeah.
pencil. So that would be good enough. just
Yeah.
like
Oh
that.
yeah.
Okay.
Nice. And then of course, Louise is like biking everywhere too. I mean, that woman is unstoppable.
She bought a harpsichord last year. Should go hear it. It's beautiful. Lovely harpsichord.
Yeah.
It looks like a small grand piano. It's so
Oh,
good.
okay.
She's a very talented musician too.
Mm-hmm. I don't think she ever sleep because her lights is always on.
That's how most successful people are. Really, you're very successful, but you should embrace your lack of sleep and just do stuff.
Yeah, right. All I can think of is like more wrinkles I'm getting, so I have to force myself to sleep. No, I actually use her as my whatever, the guide. If I see her garden with tomatoes sticking out, then I'm putting mine in. If there's nothing growing, no green whatsoever, I'm holding my tomato. I
Her
think we-
daughter, Louise's daughter, has a bakery at home. Like you order your cakes and
Oh yeah.
cupcakes from her. And
Yeah.
I must do that because the pictures of her work baking is unbelievable.
Really?
It's
Eh?
so
Wow.
beautiful. Yeah.
I know that there's a lot of home-based cooking thing now, hey? And I guess during the pandemic, you really can't crack down on whether your food is produced in a commercial kitchen or not. You know what I mean? Because I have my sister-in-law constantly advertising for one of her friends who is doing some Chinese cooking or Asian cooking from home. And then you can order and then you can go pick up.
That's great.
And now you can see that even on Facebook, the marketplace, people are selling food on there now. I guess you have to bend the rule a little bit, I don't even know last year, I think they opened last year, the farmers market in St. Albert. I'm sure this year they will open too, so I'm not sure yet. It was so funny. Last week, I don't know if you bought any tickets for Swessa the lottery, the 50-50?
No.
You didn't?
Yeah,
Oh,
I bought some.
oh, you did? Well, obviously you didn't win, right?
No,
It was a lady that won.
yeah,
So I was helping Rob. They were trying to set up to do the draw that day, and I find it's really funny because even outdoor they have to do the draw outside, right?
yeah,
And if they go into the building, they have to pay something, or pay to use the place. They say, okay, let's do it outside. But in the parking lot, you know how big the Saddleback Community Hall, the parking lot was huge.
yeah.
And the law said that you can only allow 5 people. I,
So what time were you there, Willie?
I didn't go. My friend has she dropped me after we did the Costco, and then
Oh.
he asked me, if I want to go help him set up and stuff. I said I can't. I have a class.
Oh, okay.
And then he said, well, you can come because we only have 3 people so far. You can join us, and then they will make 4, and then the president might pop by, and they will be make 5. I said, honestly, you're outdoor in a parking lot, and you actually will restrict to 5 people.
Yeah,
That seems so ridiculous to me. I mean, I can see if you said no, you cannot have more than 100 people on this gathering to draw the 5 people. I just kind of laugh.
It's like
Uh,
that sign I sent you, Willie, if there are, you can have 15 people in a church,
Yeah,
but if one's dead, you can only have 10, right?
yeah. Oh, gosh. Sometimes it just doesn't make
That
sense.
makes sense because for a funeral, because people are always hugging each other.
Oh, well, they're lucky that they can have a funeral. Most
And don't
places.
they say, and if they're outside, they only can have 5. So I don't know how it goes, but that's a weird kind of thing.
Well, that's what I mean with the drawing this tickets thing. Only 5 people are allowed. So I said to Rob, I said, well, you guys go. I don't need to go be there.
yeah, I stopped by around noon because
Oh,
I
yeah.
had to go in and download some software on the
Yeah.
computer,
Yeah, yeah.
the Microsoft patches. So they had just done the draw and they were just wrapping up when I was there.
Yeah, yeah. That's Rob. Do you know Rob? Dr. Rob?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah. No, he's a good friend of mine. I mean, we hang out around a lot
oh, okay,
because help him with his garden. Anything he wants help, he's always call me because he always say, I don't have any friend. You are the only friends I have. If you believe
Tells all his
it.
friends.
now, is he retired now or is he still practicing?
He's not practicing. He's still on sabbatical leave kind of thing, but he still
Okay.
did teachings and meetings and stuff like that.
Yeah, okay,
And beginning of last year, he was still teaching in the hospital and stuff.
oh, okay,
Yeah, but this year, of course, less, and but most everything is on. It's always on Zoom now.
yeah,
I mean, he's happy. He's happy the way that the arrangement. But now the university is offering, him something else, and he enjoys this whole 2 years off so much so that he's seriously thinking of not going back at all.
yeah,
Yeah, his wife is still working full time, so there's an income there, and she makes very handsome money there, on the Royal Alex. So, and then they have a daughter going to school in Ireland. That costs a lot of money. So, and she's coming home for the summer. June. She's coming home back in June.
what's she
Yeah.
taking in Ireland, medical?
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's a second year now, so finished, and then 5-year program. So.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, can you imagine 3 doctors, in a house? And the problem with that is that there's a lot of argument. Yeah. Oh, one time he got so mad he actually stormed out of the house. When you have a daughter who's gonna be a doctor soon, in a few years, and she thinks she knows everything, and she's more up to date than the 2 parents who are doctors. So then she would say things like to him, yeah, dad, but that's the old way, the new thing or whatever. And of
Oh,
course,
yeah.
the mother, who is an infectious specialist, is infectious disease specialist, she more onto the daughter sides, right?
Oh,
So the
yeah.
2 women will gang up on him and say, yeah, but no, that's not whenever, and then of course Rob will get so frustrated and so upset, and then then
Oh,
they have
that's
a little.
funny.
Oh, it's funny. They start fighting and they're yelling at each other, all that. I read it now. Yeah, but I'm up to date with this. And then, of course, the reason why I know is then he'll call me from his car somewhere. He parked somewhere, and say, I said, "What are you doing in a parking lot?" And somewhere. He said, "Well, I just had a fight with the girls, and all that. They are so disrespectful, and they just think that I'm stupid and all that kind of stuff."
That's funny.
Mm. I said to him, I said, "Rob, just let them win already. If they want to win the argument, just let them win." He said, "Man, I can't, but they're wrong." You know. I think that's expected. If you have, I don't know if that happened to a musical family. Where they can argue something, but something musical anyway. But
Only
it
about
was so,
practicing.
huh?
Only about practicing.
Oh, I remember one time one of these old gentlemen friend of my friends, we were gathering, at his house for lunch and stuff. This is many years ago, and I didn't even drive then. So then this gentleman said, "Okay, you know what? I'll just drive him home, after the lunch." So we had a really nice chat in the car, and then he said, "Well, what kind of music would you like on the car?" So I said, "Well, I listen to CBC a lot, So, and then of course, you turn the CBC on, and this piece of music came on, and it was so wonderful, wonderful. And of course, if you ask me what it is now, I might have to guess, but I think it was. Rachmaninoff, Piano Concerto No. 4, or something like that. It's the one that it's just absolutely amazing. So then, of course, he was being smart, and he said, "So, do you know who wrote this one? Do you know what the name?" So I said, it's Rachmaninoff, Concerto, Piano Concerto No. 4, blah, blah, blah. And then he looked at me, he said, "No, it's not." And I said, "Well, because I know, because this is one of my favorite piece of music. I listen to it a lot, and I have this one CD, and the pianist was a Filipino girl, Cecilia somebody. I still remember I have the CD. I said, I listen to it all the time. I said, this is the music. That's it. Oh, he was not impressed. He just trying to say, yeah, but it's not. I'm telling you, I know my music. And he said, this is not that. So I didn't want to argue with him. I said, well, whatever. It doesn't matter, really. Maybe I'm wrong. Who cares? Yeah, but I'm sure I'm right, because this is not that music, whatever. But for some reason, he was so defensive about it. I mean, that would be a good fight, right? So and then I got home, and then, hours later, I got a phone call, and then he apologized to me, said, "You were right."
That's good. Did he phone back?
And you know what? I'm not even musically trained. It's just that I love listening to it, so I know. And I used to listen to this in the car with my kids with different classical music, and they dislike it so much. But I said, listen, you make me listen to your rap music. I said, it's just like we're gonna take turn. So I will listen to your rap music, but you have to listen to my classical music. So you know what? Over the years, when they were growing up, they actually listened enough to know, oh yeah, that's a four season, because that was, I said, let's start with the easy one first. Let's do a Vivaldi four season. And that's is how you teach your kids, right? It may not change your life or anything, but then in the future when they do hear that song coming on, they remember that part. Oh, and my dad used to drive me in the car and make me listen to this music, right?
I was born and raised on a farm, so I listened to country and western music.
Oh yes.
My wife's from Toronto, hard rock. So
Yeah.
one of our sons is a DJ.
Oh yeah.
And the two boys really love their music, but I'm starting to convince them that country and western isn't that bad.
Yeah, no, I listen to country music as well. I mean, music is music.
It's changed a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah. The country music now is like crossover pop and everything.
Yeah.
So you must be an Elvis fan then too.
Not really. I
No?
like his music, but I never got totally excited about it.
Yeah, because we were watching the other night on Netflix, I think, a history about him and stuff like that. The story about him growing up and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Interesting. And did you know that he doesn't know how to play guitar?
It's all by ear.
No, he just pretend. He know a few chords.
Oh, okay.
And so when he's on stage and he's banging with this guitar thing, he's just pushing whatever it is. I mean, he just pretend.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty sad if you ask me. But he looked cool, for him to hold that guitar and then, trying to make love to that guitar and stuff like that and then play it. And and of course, when I found out that he wasn't, and then they show clips of his hand, when he was performing, and sure enough, you can see those. I play a little bit of guitar, and he knows about maybe 3 or 4 chords.
Oh, okay.
Your C and your D and your G, because that's basically how you play guitar. Your G, your C, your D.
That's funny.
But he managed to wing it really well and getting paid for it. So
Paid handsomely.
yeah. But it's really quite sad when you're listening to this kind of a story about all these famous people who, and it's not like, say, Alex Trebek, they hold it together till the very end and they have a very good life and everything. But then you have artists, and just almost suicidal from the day one. I mean, it's just like they aim for the destruction. And actually, this I don't know where Rick finds it on TV and Netflix or whatever. There's a whole series of over different musicians, and we watched so far Aretha Franklin and Tina Turner. And I tell you, those women have to go through hell. And the other night we were watching. Have you seen the movie Hidden Figures? Hidden Figures. It's a really good movie based on true stories about this group of Black women in the 1960s working in NASA. And they are all like very talented mathematicians. And they actually, at that time, IBM was trying to introduce computer to NASA so that they can design the projector and whatever based on the computer. And that IBM computer occupied an entire room, a huge room that you can fit on your Fitbit watch these days, you know. And of course, they were asked to leave because they said, well, now we have this computer that they can do all this calculation. He said, we don't need these women now, right? And sure enough, when was it Glenn, somebody, who is the astronaut? Glenn, can't remember his name.
Yeah.
And he was a young man then, and then he was the one who got selected to go up into the space. And he even trusted the women more than he trusted the computer. And every time they told him that, we said, well, we're gonna wait for the computer printout to tell us when are we gonna, and then he's like, I don't think so. He said, you better get those women back, and then I want their calculation. And they treated those women so badly, I tell you, in those days, she was the only person, the main character, who's an amazing mathematician. She was the only woman in the whole entire unit there to design for the flight of the Apollo and all that. And she was not even allowed to drink from the same coffee pot because one of the guy put a sticker over a smaller pot and said, colored. And then every time she needs to use the washroom, she has to run 5 miles because the next available washroom for colored people is 5 miles away.
Yeah. So I worked for IBM for 34 years, Willie,
Yeah. Oh, wow. There we go.
and I installed those computers.
Yeah.
And that was in the early 60s. So
Yeah. That's
That-
about the
that-
time.
that computer would fill your house, and it was water cooled. So there was sitting 4-inch water pipe that came into those to run through them to cool the electronics so they wouldn't burn up.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And then of course the when they first set it up, then you have to watch the movie, Pat, because you can relate to it.
I already watched the movie.
You did?
It's a great movie.
I know it did. Remember that one lady who went in there when everybody was not in the room, and she know more than the other guy.
Yeah, she started programming it.
Yeah, and she was messing around with it, taking information from there.
Well, she read the manual. The problem was, what people don't understand is those two guys that were installing it,
Yeah,
they knew nothing about the business it was going to be used for. Their job was just to install it and get it running.
yeah,
So it's the business were business people that had to learn the applications they wanted to use, not unlike today.
yeah. I know, because they really just most of the time they don't know why it's not working.
Yeah, that was a physical hardware problem. That wasn't a programming problem. Even she fixed the hardware problem.
Yeah. And the amazing part is that these are real people, and yet you hardly hear about them, the accomplishment over the years.
Yeah.
And eventually someone decided to dig out the history, and eventually they make some sort of a library in honor of the main character there, Jacqueline.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she just died recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just can't get over the fact that these are like geniuses,
Yeah.
and yet I think at least the director, played by Kevin Costner, said that to one of the kids. He said, you know what, your problem is that you cannot recognize a talent when you see one.
Yeah. Yeah. She was
when you are a scientist, you really cannot work on your own and be selfish. You know, you have to work as a group.
Well, especially today.
Yeah. I think today's scientists are very, very cooperative. Everybody's very, you know, can work nicely together. At least that's what I hope.
Well, certainly more.
Yeah, most scientists are different. I mean, they're not politicians to start with, right? And they don't necessarily work for money. They don't do it for money. You know, they do science because they love science.
Well, it's like music. You love it and you do it
Yeah.
because you love it, right?
Not Francis. Francis performed for money.
No, she does. I think she
Absolutely
should, though.
not.
I think she should be making much more money.
Yeah, she should have her own dressing room.
No, it's like being a scientist. I'm a member of an orchestra, just a little peon in a bigger organization. No, not the soloist ever.
I think you've been a soloist a few times
A few times.
under duress.
Okay, Willie, I have a terrible time when I'm shading the white flower, getting a nice smooth.
Yeah, that part is not easy to do. You got to make it so pale to start with, you know, and it's very gentle. What number are you using?
Because it's so small lines, I'm using a number 1.
Number 1. What do you mean?
Oh,
mean,
and it's
smudging.
yeah, it's the narrow one, the tiny
yeah.
one. I'm
Oh
using.
yeah, but then if it's a hard one, it's gonna create lots of hard lines in there. They're not smooth.
Oh. But if I go to the bigger one, I can't get like a nice line right at the edge of the flower.
You almost have to try it, unless you're using the hard one, but you do it very gently. Yeah, no, that's why I picked that one, you know, because flower versus fruit are different. The fruit, you can make it quite rough, you know, on the surface of the skin, but flower usually are soft, right? And I find it's just, for me anyway, it works better when I do a homemade one like this, right? And just trying to get into the corners slowly, like, you know, like that. So
So soft is the best for the flower. A real
yeah, soft.
one.
Yeah, you need to be soft. And I'm gonna quickly draw a little bit, then, and I'll just get carried away doing this one. I kind of having fun doing this. These little fruit here. And of course, I don't mind doing the lighter one, but we come to that pot behind it. I sent this picture to you guys, by the way. So you can have lots to do all summer long. Okay, let me see here. I wonder if are they taking a break also for June and July?
You would probably
What's that?
know first because you're the teacher.
Well, I have no place to go. You know, if they want me to teach, I'll do it. And if we don't have enough people to run it, that's fine too. Then I can go out there and do my gardening and stuff like that.
I think that they're working on a new program right now.
Yeah. So they're not taking a break, right?
I don't think so. I don't think COVID's taking a break either.
Well, I have some senior center is like, well, no, we're gonna do in-person class, so we're gonna wait. Well, you're gonna wait for a while. Like the one on north side, you know, NISA, they haven't done anything online at all, and no one is gonna run the any program at all. So yeah, it's just kind of sad because then nothing happens, right?
Yeah.
Why can't they all work together? Like, you know, it just boggles my mind that there should be a difference.
Well, they have all this their own individual organizations. So because each organization has their own money and funding and stuff like that, and of course, if they were to get the funding, they're not going to share it with the other in the other senior center. Like Swesa right now is trying to raise money so that they can get that thing going there. You know that new place, the new community center, or
You mean Blue Quill? What,
no, it's
No,
gonna
this-
be
which,
by Terwilliger Rec Center.
What is that?
Oak Hill.
Yeah,
is the
Park
over
Oak Hill
there.
too. Yeah,
That's my
um,
neighborhood.
right next to the Mother. Who is that? The high school there, Mother Mary,
Lillian Osborne?
Lillian Osborne. Yeah,
So
yeah,
Southwest Seniors is going to move completely to Lillian Osborne area.
yeah. They're out of they're out of Yellowbird completely now.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So they have been running the program out of Blue Quill temporarily because the Yellowbird, during the pandemic, even though with all the shutdown, they still demanding rent for that place, even though they're not in there. Whereas Blue Quill is different, right? You know, they said you only pay when you use the space. But they have been raising money for years now, and to try to build a community center by Lily Osborne, and then
Well, we don't know where we're going to go. That's the problem. And it's a lot of money to build your own center.
yeah. Well, so
And-
far they raised quite a bit of money, right?
I think you should come to my neighborhood. I welcome you. I don't know what building you're going to use, but I love it.
Yeah, no, I saw the blueprint and everything, and they're gonna design because they want me to attend the meeting so that I can tell them what is needed to go into my art room.
Wow.
They're gonna put an art room in there so that I can teach in there.
But we're
So
we're
this-
talking many years away then, are we?
Well, they need to get the money all together, right? So they have the architect and drawn out all that stuff already, and with the possibility of add-on. And then I saw the blueprint. It was quite interesting because there's two parts of the building, and in the middle is like a roof, but inside you can do a farmer's market type of thing. You know, so then you can do an indoor market in there as well. And then of course they have to have a storage room for the soccer part of it. And of course, it's just like, I don't know where do you know, Pat, where they're sitting now? How many $1 million do they have so far?
I don't know.
They actually have quite a bit. The city have given quite a bit as well. And like I said, they have enough money to get the architect stuff going. Everything was done. So they just need to raise more money, but it's not going fast enough, you know. Oh, anyway, Francis, look, I draw a petal here. You know which one is on the right-hand side, right?
Yep.
And there's a little bit of marking down here. I just want to do one part here so that you can see. So then there's a dark color. Usually if I doing this, I'm just gonna hint it first and I'll come back and darken it. So that you can see which one it is. So the first little bit, I will just go ahead and make a little dark just to mark the center. Here's the center here, all right? And then all these part and this parts are all the same color. So rather than using the stump here, it will just give me a tip. It's really hard to do. It's not impossible. So I'm using two stumps to show you, to create the shades in there. So I'll take some more here. And this piece here are very even, right? So you see, I'm just using my stump and just keep going over very softly, gently, and then you get a beautiful, nice, soft shades there. And it carries over to this side. And I'm going to steal some from here to this side. And then of course, this is a larger area. You can do the same because the petal is, this one is so small. But when you're doing a big one, you know, it will be easier to do this, taking a much bigger paper towel like that, or paper clinics, and see, then you can cover most of the shady area this way, right? Layer by layer until you get it nice and smooth. I understand about you talking about the edges, you know, hard to get to the edges, yeah, because if you're big, you almost have to just go over it, not to worry about where it stops. You know why? Because then you can reverse it by erasing to get a cleaner line, right? For example, on this side here, you know, I need to turn my paper, but if I can't get it nice and tight to the edge here, and if I accidentally go over, then I'm just gonna go and erase and then create the sharp edge again because there's a little fold here or something like that. And then you can see that they're not entirely even. So then you just go back again gently and a little bit at a time and just slowly going in there and do it one more time. So there's a lot of layering and in order to get it nice and smooth. Okay, so this is the light shadow for that particular petal. And then you got a little bit of, oh, here we go. So this one here. And then there's a little fold coming down this way too. Yeah, that Dr. Rob started a lot of stuff. And sometimes he just leave it for people to carry over, you know, like the community run in June. Now they don't even do that. Last year was the first time they stopped because of the pandemic. And he was one of the founder for the SWESA as well. That's what he said to me anyway. Maybe he's lying, but. So now you have a new president for a couple of years, I think, and I met her at the Yellowbird. I cannot work with that woman, right? I told you that. And so a lot of people just didn't want to work with him. So Pat, you know Bob Power as well then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he got so fed up with it too. So
With what?
Bob Power,
Yeah.
yeah, he's so fed up with the whole organization because it's just too difficult to work with those ladies, right?
So
I'm the easiest person to work with. I just stay away from it.
What happened to Melissa?
Melissa also, you know, I think she quits, right?
Yeah.
No, she got a job. She
Oh,
got
got a job?
She got her dream job full time with another company in Spruce Grove where she is living.
Okay.
And then there was a Jennifer, right? Jennifer?
Yeah,
Yeah, Jennifer got a job from AHS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you? She was so sweet. I like Jennifer.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, she was there a long time.
Yeah.
And this was her dream job, and it came up as an opportunity at AHS. Said I just can't turn it down.
Yeah, well, you know what
So-
you do in the meantime, you do whatever you can, and she did a great job. So
Was she a
Yeah.
recreation therapist or?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she was terrific. Yeah.
She.
Yeah, no,
She
I like.
also, I think she had a situation where, I'm not sure it was her direct family, but she ended up getting a lot of medical services from the Stollery, and she wanted to pay back. And so this was her way of going back and helping.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good for her.
But it also was a full-time job, full benefits, everything, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
My niece who is studying to be a nurse also recently got a job with AHS. And it's so funny when you watch this little thing. I told them the little thing because I still remember the day she was born, and now she's adult
Yeah,
with boyfriend, working as a nurse, whatever. It's just like all of a sudden you don't even recognize them anymore.
Yeah.
But no, we got together quite a bit, and it's just so nice to see them doing so well, right?
Hey, Willie, I'm going to show you mine. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm pressing too hard.
Yeah,
So
I'm
this is
pressing too
my-
hard too. You see,
Maybe this is, can you see my leaf there? Is that
Yeah.
too,
I don't think so.
can you
No.
see? It looks to me uneven too, and I keep going over it and over.
Yeah,
it.
no, you know what? You're just seeing a little part, so it's much harder to see. And I would, what I would do, just keep going. Don't worry about it. And
Do you-
for
Okay,
me,
what I wonder is, do you have to clean your stump? Like, do you stop and you clean it or wipe it down? And
not really. No, we wanted to have all those lovely shades in here so that we can use as shade for various parts, like really nice and soft. You can go down a little bit in large area on the side.
yeah, maybe I should do that more. I'm going on the point more.
Oh yeah, point is okay in some area, and then you can just move it up and down to see what you need, right? If you do point all the time, you're gonna end up with lines like this,
Well, that's what I have.
right?
Okay.
And then of course, this is a good example not to draw the flower before the background, because then you tend to, just like painting, we have painted white lilies before. If you paint the lily before, you tend to make it darker and dirtier. So you need to have your background in first.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you paint white on white is the hardest thing, even drawing with white on white, right? So are you gonna do a hand for me for next week so that we can compare notes? Just put your hand in front, rest it,
Okay.
and then just sit there. So no tracing whatsoever. And then you're gonna look for the cylinder. You don't need to make it that precise, but and you can just see where the hands are. You got your square first. You can do your square, and then you can add into the rest of it. Then you go, okay, yeah, you have divided into one section, 1, 2, and 3 and 4. And then each
I already did mine, Willie.
Hmm?
I already did mine.
You did yours.
Let's see, Pat.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
Very
Long
good.
fingers, long fingers,
Mm-hmm.
Goodness, you guys.
piano fingers.
Yeah,
No, I'm glad that you are involved with that, with Swesa too, Pat. And I don't know to what extent, but they sure need a lot of help right now.
well, I'm on the board and I look after all the IT stuff.
Okay, that's wonderful. And Tony, this is the first time he's doing the fundraising, and
Donna's husband.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I feel badly I didn't buy tickets now. Gee. Next time.
Oh, there will be more coming.
Yeah.
And now they have Rob is thinking of another fundraising thing that he found out from another country or another whatever they do it. And he was trying to explain to me, it went over my head. I have no idea. I said, Robert, if you try to explain how this fundraising thing to me and I hardly understand, what makes you think the rest of the senior center can actually understand what you're talking about?
Yeah, he's pretty passionate.
Yeah, sometimes too much. And just bossy, you know. I guess he can boss me around because we're
Just
good
probably
friends.
with you, yeah.
Yeah.
You put up with it.
Like yesterday, he called me up and said, "Oh, send me a picture of his socks. One pair of socks, right? I don't know, one sock." And I kind of go waiting for him to. I'm going, "Why are you showing me this wool socks?" Then the message came later and said, "Can you go to Superstore and buy me some wool sock, not the thick one, okay, the thin one."
Gee, you're
And
his
I said,
personal assistant.
Yeah. And I said, "Why don't you go get it yourself? Then you know exactly what you're getting." He said, "I'm busy right now." He said, "Can you go and get it for me?"
Gee,
So then I went to, well, it happened to, I have to go get some plants. So I went into Superstore and then I pick up this package and there's a gray one and then there's a dark gray one. They package it together for $8, right? So I took a picture and sent it to him. I said, is this what you want? He said, "I don't want the black one. I want all gray." I said, "Yeah, but they are together." You know, I said, "They don't sell them like just the gray one. It's two and two and two together." Oh, he's like, "Oh, yeah, but I don't like the black one or darker one." I said, "Robert, it's in your shoes. You're gonna have, you're gonna wear it. No one is gonna see it, right?" So,
That's funny.
so finally, I talked him into taking it. So I got that. So it's sitting in my door, waiting for him to pick up. See, things like that. And then he insists that he wants to help me build a box, the box of garden, right? To build the box for my garden. And I'm going, "Yeah, the lumber is right now 700% increase on the lumber." I said, "I can't even afford to buy any lumber to build anything." Yeah, well, I heard the last time I heard the price went up, some of the items, 700%.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, well, if somebody's something is $7, it will be $70 now. Like, how do you justify that?
I
So
looked
there's
at
some
a Zoom.
people were planning to build their deck,
Yeah,
and the deck would have cost $900 last year. Now it's close to 4,000.
yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah.
That's just insane.
I know.
We built a little raised vegetable garden, and I looked online. I didn't want anything fancy. I just looked online. Some girl how to do it. She said, "Oh, for $15, mind you, she bought the most kind of the throwaway, bad, rotten pieces of wood, whatever." So
Yeah.
I thought, okay, well, we could do this for a lot cheap. Not that much money, but it was a lot of money. It was a few $100s, right? And I didn't think it would be hardly anything. So
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like one of my, Jenny. Remember Jenny Francis? She was talking about her renovation.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they have these things all booked last year with a certain price, and then of course when time comes to build it,
Yeah.
and every 2 weeks the contractor will come to her and say, "Well, this week it's going to cost you this much."
Crazy. And yet there's so much construction where I live over in Aspen Gardens. Everyone is building and renovating and ripping down, and it's unbelievable.
there's a lot of money there.
Oh yeah, there's definitely money somewhere.
Well, I think they only guarantee a price for a certain length of time now for any quote. Or
Yeah.
like maybe a month or two, a month maybe.
Yeah, that's what I said to Rob. I say, I know it's not going to be a whole lot, but I said, "Well, why don't you come and look at my garden again? I did something to it." And I said, "And then you tell me if we need it, because we have extra boxes, like a frame that you can put on top, and then you fill up your dirt or you do something with it." So there's two of them extra lying around. So I took one and then put it right in my middle, and it looks really good. So that middle one is going to have my rhubarb, my radicchules and my irises, my poppies, my green onions, and then the rest are tomatoes and beans and everything.
Sounds
I said, no,
great.
we're gonna build it nice so that you have a best looking flower box and a vegetable box in the whole the condo. I said, this is not a competition.
Listen, he owes you for all that shopping that you've done. He can come and build it for you for nothing.
Oh, so anyway, I don't mind sharing the secret with you. So Pat, don't tell him that. Sometimes his wife doesn't like him to buy certain thing at Costco. That's why he dragged me to Costco. So he will make me buy it for him, and then he will transfer to me from a secret account to me to pay me. And then he will take his item, whatever he wanted, and go downstairs and hide in the basement.
So this is unhealthy food, I take it.
Oh, anything.
You're an enabler. You are an enabler, Willie.
I thought, it's pretty sad if you think about this doctor with lots of money and then and he cannot just buy anything he wants because he have to go home and explain to his wife, and he has to justify why he bought this and that. And when he goes to buy grocery, the wife will give him a list, and sometimes I will hold the list and say, okay, well, we need frozen broccoli. And sometimes we walk past something and say, oh, that looks good. I say, it's not on the list because I know by now, right? Because in the past, when he got something, it's not on the list and he'll get shit for it.
And then he'll blame you.
I just thought it's just so funny, I mean, I personally can tell you that I cannot live like that. I'm glad that, when I go and buy grocery, I can buy whatever I want. I don't need to explain to somebody. Oh, gosh.
Lunchtime.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
So
Yeah.
much fun.
Okay, I'll promise I'll do my homework next week.
What homework are you going to do, Willie?
Well, I'm gonna continue with this one. You got the picture as well.
Okay.
Oh, I haven't done that one at all.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Oh, and you have lots of them that you're gonna do.
And I have.
And I will do the flower, but I'm not gonna make it too big. I'm gonna make a small one.
Very good idea.
So I'll do the small one, and then hopefully I'll finish the rest of the hand, and then do this. So we got a few homework here to do. Like this guy, I'm gonna finish the rest of him. So we have to make this bottom.
We don't have
part.
him. We don't have him.
You don't have them?
He's
We
not-
do not have
no,
him. No.
no.
Did I show you how to do this last week?
Nope. No.
Oh, so
We,
this is the,
we had the other two men, right? The herder and the
yeah,
shepherd.
okay. So
and
this
they
is
were-
this is my Friday lessons then. So yeah, it's okay. So you got enough here to play with.
Okay.
And now I'll do the flower, and I'm gonna start the Tuscany one just so that we have no time to remind me next week when we start. I'm gonna show you how I create a landscape with pencil. Okay.
Excellent. Wonderful.
I need you to remind me because
I will.
I'm
remind
old,
you. Okay.
Bye.
Bye,
Thanks.
Lucy.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye,
Pat.
everybody.
Send us
Bye.
some big,
See you
beautiful
see you
pictures.
Friday.
Okay.
Bye,
I'll try,
Pat.
Lucy.
Bye.